Hi, everybody. How are you? Good to see you again. Happy Tuesday. Happy October. First day of October 2019. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Got a great show for you. Normally don't promise a five-star show on a Tuesday. We're going to see if we can meet that expectation. I'm in a really good mood today because it's baseball postseason time again. I'm on record. I love the baseball postseason. I'm just into it. Don't even care who's in it. I just love the intensity of it. Every pitch matters this time of the year. So I'm in a good mood. Yeah, they get going tonight with postseason baseball. We got a live broadcast tonight, as a matter of fact. We'll be at Eastmont's Stadium as the Eastmont girls soccer team will take on Davis, the Davis Pirates in town. We'll have that game for you tonight at 7 o'clock with Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wiesen. We'll have the beautiful game live from Eastmont Stadium, and a high school football game on Friday night. We're going to be in Cashmere. Normally, either we cover, of course, the Wenatchee Panthers or the Eastmont Wildcats. Well, both the Wildcats and the Panthers are on the road on Friday night. So we had a hole in our schedule. We're going to work it out with our friends up in Cashmere. We'll be carrying the OMAC and Cashmere Caribou Trail League game on Friday night from beautiful Cashmere. We are looking forward to that. The sun is up. Sun came up just now. Sunrise, 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. The sun will go down tonight. I should say at about 6:40. That gives us 11 hours and 40 minutes of daylight. Didn't have to worry about the whole freezing frost thing that we were all concerned about yesterday morning at this time. Didn't happen. The clouds were supposed to depart and thin out in the late afternoon, early evening hours yesterday. That didn't quite happen. So even though we didn't get very warm, we only got to 50 degrees, which is very chilly for this time of the year. Our normal high on Monday, the last day of September, was supposed to be 70. We didn't even, we were 20 degrees below normal. But we had enough cloud cover that it kept whatever heat we had pretty close to the valley floor. So we're at 41 degrees right now. They were worried we were going to be down about 33 or 34 degrees for the overnight low into the early hours. That didn't happen. So big sigh of relief there, and we're going to have a gradual warming trend throughout the course of the week. We could even hit 70 again by the time we get to Monday. So definitely it was a weather anomaly that happened on Saturday and Sunday, but we set some records too, another record set. We'll get to that when we get to the weather forecast. Also, we'll have the 3-month temperature outlook, which they issue on a quarterly basis for you people who work on the quarterly basis. This is the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year, of course, October, November, December. We'll have that for you from the National Weather Service. We got news, we got sports, we have the obscure holiday. We'll get some celebrity birthdays coming your way. Also today in history, lots of things happened on this day in history. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and we're talking baseball with Joel Norman, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee AppleSox. We're going to be talking postseason baseball. Because, we're into baseball, Joel and I are. And also we'll talk about the new manager of the Wenatchee AppleSox, the new head coach who will be taking over for the 2020 season. So we got a good show for you. Sun's up. Let's get her done. 3 minutes after the hour. Let's go around the valley with our Valley View cameras. Megan pushing the buttons. Oh, look at that. Look at the very top of Birch Mountain. Isn't that cool? Just that sun's just peeking through and kissing it. Already seeing some snow melt. By the way, everybody's going crazy. Mission Ridge had 2 feet of snow over the weekend. It's going to be gone in about 10 days. But it's a nice little tease for you skiers out there. Passes are fine, by the way. No advisories, no restrictions. We're past that rather dramatic weather we had over the weekend. What a gorgeous view there from, of course, the cross camera, which is zoomed in just a little bit. Good start to the day. Where are we off to, Megan? We're going to pay a visit camera-wise to Stamen Flats, the mighty Columbia River, which, of course, is the lifeblood of this area. If we didn't have the Columbia River running right through the Wenatchee Valley and into north central Washington, we wouldn't be hanging around here. Now, would we? The Columbia River, of all the rivers in the world, it's my favorite. On the other hand, I've never ranked all the rivers in the world, so what do I know? Great view from Stamen Flats and Douglas County dominating your view there. Stamen Flats, of course, was named after the legendary pool player Minnesota Stamen. Camera number 3. It's off to Rondo Rock. What a great view that is. We should just throw that up, throw some music, go out and have some breakfast and look at that all day. Incredible view of Lake Aniat. Turtle Rock, of course, in your distance, and way off there is Mission Ridge, and you can see the snow up in the upper elevations. Again, it's going to be departing as we gradually get warmer throughout the course of the week, with highs getting not quite to normal, but we'll be in the mid-60s by the time we get to the weekend, and we're looking at some sunshine as well. So snow's not going to last much longer. Camera 4, where are we off to, Megan? Let's say hello to Bill E. Goat, USA. Phenomenal. Unbelievable view. Hi, Pateris, how are you? Meadow River in there. Brewster off in the distance. Gotta play Gamble Sands Golf Course. Haven't done it yet this year. Gotta play Alta Lake. Have not done that this year. You could probably do both this time of the year. There's just enough daylight. Go up and play 18 at Alta Lake and then head on up to Brewster and over to Gamble Sands. And of course, Mount Kalispell way off in the distance, which is in Canada. Our neighbors to the north. That is one of the most amazing views you will find anywhere from the top of Billy Goat Mountain overlooking the Alta Lake area. Good stuff. Good choices today, Megan. Take the rest of the day off. 6 minutes after the hour on this first day of October. And as I mentioned before at the top of the hour, we had that freeze warning. We were afraid we were going to get down to 34, 33, 32 for the overnight low. Didn't happen. Clouds kept the heat in. We're at 41 degrees right now. We were at right around 41, 42 all through the evening hours. So the people who are worried about plants that were susceptible to freezing temperatures, we caught a break. It didn't happen. Here's your forecast from the National Weather Service. Lots of sunshine today. Hey, that 58 is going to feel downright balmy considering we only got to 50 yesterday. Our normal high is supposed to be about 70, so it's still going to be well below normal, but we'll take the sunshine. Looking good. As I mentioned before, temperatures are going to gradually warm through the week. There's a weak little system that's going to come in on Wednesday night and Thursday, but it's not going to really do much. Maybe some light rain. It's going to cloud us up Wednesday night into Thursday, but you really no dramatic weather out there. Certainly nothing like we had over the weekend. Got a couple of slides for you. Our weekly temperature outlook for the rest of this week, gradually warming up. Yeah, these temperatures, as I mentioned before, still below normal a little bit, but not too much. Just day by day, just a little bit warmer and a little bit warmer from 58 today to 59 on Wednesday. Although we'll have fairly cloudy skies on Thursday morning. The sun will be out by Thursday afternoon. We'll be up near 60. Friday, mid-60s. Saturday, mid-60s. Lots of sunshine. Sunday, mid-60s. Monday, near 70. If the models agree with each other, and by that I mean the computer models, not the models that wear clothes and walk down runways. We also have the 3-month temperature outlook. They do this at the beginning of every quarter. Take a look at that. There is the average, the normal average throughout this time period is 41.6 degrees. There is a 43% chance that the average temperature for October, November, December will be above normal. So we're looking at a mild start into autumn and into winter. That's what they're looking at for the long term, the 3-month temperature outlook. So it looks like, if everything is in agreement and these statistics prove to be correct, it looks like we're going to have a warmer than normal autumn and a warmer than normal beginning to the winter. So I can live with that. So records. We did set a record for precipitation in the month of December. This is as measured at the wastewater treatment plant, the Wenatchee wastewater treatment plant down by the Columbia. For the month of September, we had 2.30 inches of rain. That set the new record. The old record was 2.14 inches of rain back in 1986. They've been keeping records at the water treatment plant since 1931. So it's the wettest September on record. Just went by in our rearview mirror with 2.30 inches of rain. Normally the weather in September is just phenomenal, and it wasn't a bad weather September at all until we got to the end of it, and that's when things really changed. So take a look at your forecast. Nothing really dramatic. Could get a little bit of light rain Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Don't bet on it. Weekend's looking mighty fine indeed. Partly sunny Saturday, about 65. Mostly sunny Sunday, about 66. Monday near 68. Looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to having a weekend. That'll be good. So there you go. There's your forecast. No problems at all. 41 degrees. High clouds over our area, and at 10 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have your Tuesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for the first day of October, and we are live from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
My first experience with CVCH, I had to come in with my daughter by myself with a cut in my hand that required stitches. And the care and compassion at CVCH was really significant, that they took the care and compassion and made me feel more as a human instead of just a patient there. The care they have for their community all around, inside and outside the clinic, is what I feel like is different. And that's what makes me want to come back to CVCH and recommend them to my friends and family.
Hi, my name is Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group, formerly known as Senior Insurance Services. And we recently decided to make that name change because we're offering so many different other types of insurances in addition to Medicare education and enrollment like we've been doing for 15 years. So if you have questions about Medicare or any other forms of insurances, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group, 888-2600, or visit us at any of our 5 locations.
We're back at 11 minutes after the hour. We have high clouds and 43 degrees outside of our studios. We'll be just about 58 or 59 for the afternoon high with quite a bit of sunshine. Mixed with clouds and sun all week long, but a gradual warming trend and a pretty good looking weekend. Weather-wise, if this forecast holds true, and we hope it does. Here's what's making headlines on this Tuesday. Douglas County prosecutors have upgraded their charges against murder suspect Uli Tulilo. This is just 1 week before he's scheduled to go on trial in the case of his wife's death. Peggy Tulilo was found bludgeoned to death in the couple's Rock Island trailer home back in July of 2018. She had recently voiced fears to both friends and authorities that her husband meant to harm her. Now, Uli Tulilo was originally charged with second-degree murder, but yesterday prosecutors arraigned him on counts including first-degree murder with premeditation, saying that he planned his wife's killing. He has pleaded not guilty. He has asked that his trial be held before a judge, not a jury. That trial is scheduled to commence in Waterville 1 week from today. A Wenatchee parent who's already served time for domestic violence is accused of threatening to kill a teenage family member. 56-year-old Michael John Carpenter was arrested by East Wenatchee police last week for an alleged threat of violence that was reported by authorities at the victim's school. Carpenter was previously jailed for 6 months in 2017 for a domestic assault that left a 14-year-old girl with a concussion. He now faces possible charges of assault and intimidation in Douglas County Court. Well, starting today, Forest Service crews will be stopping people going in and out of the Okanagan and Wenatchee National Forest for a quick little chat. The Forest Service is trying to figure out who is using the forest, what they're using it for, and how long they're staying. Now, though there will be orange traffic cones in the roads and the crews will be wearing bright orange vests, participating in this survey is strictly voluntary. The United States Forest Service says it will be a year-long project with interviews lasting about 10 minutes. About a third of those surveyed will be asked to fill out a confidential survey on how much money they spend on their national forest visits. Speaking of the National Forest, Chelan County took down their fire danger signs on Monday, officially bringing an end to the 2019 fire season. The warnings, by the way, never did exceed the high fire danger. Of course, we had a pretty quiet summer in north central Washington. We were spared from any large wildfires and choking smoke this summer. Hey, if you need a job, the U.S. Census Bureau is now recruiting for temporary 2020 census takers in the Chelan County area. Now, the job pays $14.20 an hour. Census takers go house to house to count people in person who have not self-responded to the decennial census questionnaire. Officials say this operation requires more field workers than any other operation for the national population count. It's in the Constitution. It occurs every 10 years. The census influences how much the $675 billion from more than 100 federal programs are distributed to states and localities. Each year, you can make your applications by going to 2020census.gov. And for the 55th year, Leavenworth celebrated the Autumn Leaf Festival over the weekend. Our very own Megan McPherson was there, and she filed this report.
The weather was more winter than fall-like in Leavenworth for the annual Autumn Leaf Festival over the weekend. Despite late September snow on the passes and cold and wet conditions in town, the sidewalks were crowded with bundled but merry watchers as the Autumn Leaf Grand Parade wound through downtown Saturday. The parade featured bands, floats, and more from throughout the Northwest. The rain made participants and observers a bit soggy, but it didn't dampen their spirits. Autumn Leaf is Leavenworth's oldest festival in a town filled with festivals year-round. Honored during the parade were two 2019 Grand Marshal Jim Willems and Royal Lady Charlotte Lay. The festival also included a polka street dance later in the evening and a classic car show on Sunday.
By the way, the Autumn Leaf Festival pretty much wraps up the festival season for 2019. It begins traditionally, of course, with the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival right here in the big city and goes through, well, just about now. This is already the first day of October. My, how time flies. Grant Olson's taking the week off, a well-deserved week off for our anchor, so Jefferson Robbins will be in this very chair come 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. You can check out the news, what made news on this Tuesday. Jefferson with the news, Eric Granstrom with sports and weather. We'll have it for you in a nice little package we like to call the NCW Life News, because you have to call it something. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock available on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com. You can watch the live stream, or you can watch the news whenever you want to. We'll have it up and running just about 5 o'clock tonight. Don't forget, we got high school soccer tonight, as well as these Wildcats take on the Davis Pirates in Big Nine action. That'll be at 7 o'clock tonight. Don't forget to drop us a line, too. You saw the email address, news@ncwlife.com. Love to hear from you, news@ncwlife.com. Going to take a break just about 18 minutes after the hour. We come back with sports, the obscure holiday. Today in history, birthdays, everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion of a conversation with Joel Norman, talking baseball, October baseball. It's as good as it gets. All that coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Campfire North Central Washington, serving youth ages 3 to 18. Register today in one of Campfire's programs. Club members meet regularly with volunteer leaders to learn responsibility, sharing, cooperation, and citizenship. When a child is involved in Campfire, they will be actively learning and engaged in activities, encouraged to learn new skills, feel a part of the group, learn to work in a team setting, participate in planning, goal setting, and making lasting memories.
Beautiful sunrise. Look at that. And a good-looking day today, too. Quite a bit of sunshine, but chilly temperatures, only about 57 or 58 for the afternoon high. Let's talk sports. Very busy prep schedule today on Tuesday. We'll start out with the soccer pitch. Who's playing who? Chelan, excuse me, will host Okanagan. Excuse me. That's at 4. Manson travels to Brewster at 4:30. At 6. In CWAC action, Quincy is at Wapato. Freitas and Toppenish. The Cascade Kodiaks will play under the lights, hosting the Cashmere Bulldogs. That's at 6:30. At 7, Wenatchee is at West Valley. Moses Lake hosts Sunnyside. And right here on the NCW Life channel, we have Eastmont hosting Davis at Wildcat Stadium. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wiesen on the play-by-play. Pregame 6:45, and they'll start at 7 o'clock. Packed volleyball schedule today. Eniat takes on Wilson Creek at 5:30. At 6:30, you got Manson at Tenasca. Waterville Mansfield will host Brewster. Cashmere's at Cascade. Chelan hosts Okanagan at 7. You got Prosper at Quincy. Ephrata travels to Othello. Eastmont on the road at Davis. Wenatchee will host West Valley. And Moses Lake is at Sunnyside. The Moses Lake girls swimming and diving team will host a double duel today. West Valley and Sunnyside will be hopping in the pool of Moses Lake. They get going at 4 o'clock. Just one cross-country meet today. Chelan will host Omak and Cashmere. A CTL run, they get going this afternoon at 3:30. What's our sports podcast looking like this week? Well, lighter than last week. We were busy and crazy last week. As we mentioned, we got the girls' Big Nine soccer tonight. Eastmont hosting Davis. On Friday, we head up to the Valley. Yeah, we're heading to Cashmere to bring you Bulldogs football. Cashmere and Omak. This will be a good game. The Pioneers from Omak, they're undefeated, 4-0. Bulldogs are 3-1, coming off their first loss of the season. Eric Granstrom and Steve Sandman will have the play-by-play beginning with the pregame at 6:45, kickoff at 7 from Cashmere's football stadium. The Seahawks announcing yesterday that Paul Allen, the late Paul Allen, will be the 12th inductee into the Ring of Honor. At CenturyLink Field, of course, Allen led the charge to buy the team in 1997, saved the Seahawks in Seattle, including helping to build the new stadium to replace the Kingdome. Allen's sister, Jody, will help with the induction ceremony prior to Thursday night's game. She'll raise the 12th flag before kickoff. Coach Pete Carroll says he's really looking forward not only to the game against the Rams on Thursday, but the ceremony of the man that brought Pete Carroll to Seattle.
It's a good opportunity for us to get back-to-back divisions games and kind of get it mixed up right here early in the season. We love playing on Thursday night, and whenever we get those chances, we enjoy that. It's great to be here with the fans and all. I think it's worth noting that this is a special occasion, celebrating Paul and all that he stood for the Seahawks in the Northwest and all of that. And there's going to be a program for him before the game starts, so we encourage the 12s to get there early and enjoy it and have some fun. Here Jody's raising the flag, which is great. I can't wait to see that. And it should be a big event, a big night, so it should be a lot of fun for everybody.
Of course, Pete Carroll was hired by Paul Allen back in 2010 after a great run as the head coach of the Southern California Trojans. He said he would not have come to Seattle had it not been for the words of Paul Allen and the team president at the time.
The messaging really that started with Todd Lewicki. He was the guy I was dealing with for the most part, and Paul kind of came in to kind of close in and support the offering, what they're talking about, in the role, this position, and all that. I was easily convinced that he meant what he was saying. I had not been easily convinced of that in that same discussion with other clubs over the years, and. Everything he said came true. Everything he stood for was real, and Todd had assured me that it would be and all that, but then just after talking to Paul, I just had no doubt, and it was a very difficult decision to leave where I was coming from, but I was really excited about the chance because of the challenge of it all, and basically because of his support. I came here because of him. I came here because he was the one that said, it'll be like this, you can have this opportunity, you'll be in charge, and on and on, and I was convinced.
Paul Allen will join Steve Largent, Jim Zorn, Dave Brown, Pete Gross, Kurt Warner, Jacob Green, Kenny is easily Dave Craig, Chuck Knox, Cortez Kennedy, and Walter Jones in the Ring of Honor. And don't forget, postseason baseball begins tonight. The Brewers will be in Washington, D.C. to take on the Nationals. 5 o'clock first pitch on TBS. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this Tuesday, there is some dispute between Megan and I on whether today is International Coffee Day. It's International Coffee Day. You have to take my word at it. Megan, I found it on the internet. Happy International Coffee Day. Coffee goes all the way back to the 9th century. The coffee plant was, of course, discovered. It grows wild. It was discovered in Ethiopia. It didn't take long for people to take the leaves off the coffee plant, boil them, and boom, you have a tasty beverage. And this was way back in the 9th century. During the 14th century, in Yemen, of all places, they began to grow coffee plants specifically to make coffee. And then it kind of went from there. And then it got more popular and more popular. By the 16th century, coffee had made its way to Europe via international trade routes. Coffee houses soon sprung up all over Europe. Now, of course, it's made its way to our area. It's been in the Americas, North and South America, by the 1600s, and of course it is an incredibly popular drink. Fun facts about coffee. Coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world. Only oil surpasses coffee as a traded commodity. The first food ever to be dehydrated was coffee. 40% of all the coffee produced in the world is produced in Brazil. George Constant Washington was the guy who invented instant coffee, which tastes like instant coffee. I did not know this until I found this out a couple of days ago. Dark roast coffee has less caffeine than light roast coffee. You would think it'd be the other way around, but no. The lighter the roast, the more the caffeine. And in the United States, 8 out of every 10 people drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day. That's pretty remarkable. That explains Starbucks. There you go. Happy International Coffee Day at 26 minutes after the hour. Let's do Today in History. Buckle your seatbelts. It is the first day of October, and everything we're going to talk about today is a day of firsts. For instance, Stanford University opened its doors for the very first time on this date back in 1891, Stanford University. I went through Palo Alto. It was in the backseat of a patrol car. Happy 128th birthday to Stanford University. It opened its gates on this date in 1891. The very first game of the very first World Series was played on this date, October 1st, 1903, 116 years ago, at the Huntington Baseball Grounds in Boston, Massachusetts. The Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Boston Pilgrims. That's what the Red Sox were known at that time. 7-3 in the first game of the first World Series on this date in 1903. Happy 88th birthday to the busiest bridge in the world, the George Washington Bridge, which spans New Jersey and Upper Manhattan. The George Washington Bridge opened to traffic on this date in 1931, 88 years ago today. Told you it was all about firsts. Over 103 million automobiles cross the George Washington Bridge every day. The cost to go from New Jersey to Manhattan is $15. The price to go from Manhattan to New Jersey is nothing. Might explain the importance of going to Manhattan. Happy 79th birthday to the very first superhighway in the United States, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Considered the first superhighway in the United States, opened to traffic on this date in 1940. 79 years ago today, it connects the entire state of Pennsylvania. It goes from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. So if you travel the entire 360 miles on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, it'll run you $47.15. It opened on this date 79 years ago today. 70 years ago today, and this is in the news today because they got some troubles in Hong Kong. This is the 70th anniversary of Communist China. The People's Republic of China was declared by Mao Zedong on this date 70 years ago today, and it is in the news. The folks in Hong Kong are, they're getting shot is what's going on. It happened on this date 70 years ago. Communist China came into being. 62 years ago, the very first appearance of In God We Trust showed up on U.S. paper currency. Happened on this date 62 years ago in 1957. More firsts. 57 years ago, on this date in 1962, October 1st, 1962, the very first Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson aired on NBC. It was broadcast live from New York City from 1962 to 1973. Then it moved, of course, to Burbank in California for the remainder of its run. Now it's back in New York City with Jimmy Fallon. 48 years ago, in 1971, Walt Disney World opened to the public for the very first time. I have been to Walt Disney World, and I have been to Disneyland. Disney World is better. Disney World is bigger. No question about it. Happy 48th birthday to Walt Disney World, which opened its gates to the public 48 years ago today. And 37 years ago today, the contraption that changed how we listen to music, the very first consumer compact disc player, hit the markets, the Sony model CDP 101. You could go to your local electronics store and buy a CD player for the very first time on this date 37 years ago. Today, it costs $730, which is about $1,000 today. I still have the very first CD player I ever bought. It collects dust in my closet, but I figure one of these days it'll be a museum piece. And I bought it in 1983. Cost me a lot of money. Finally, birthdays at the bottom of the hour. No president has ever lived to the age of 95 except this gentleman, James Earl Carter Jr., Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States. He is the oldest president ever, the oldest of all presidents. He is the earliest serving president who is still alive, of course. He's president from 1977 to 1981. He's written over 30 books, everything from fiction, nonfiction, poetry, foreign affairs. That's pretty impressive. He is the only president to have graduated from the United States Military Academy in Annapolis. He graduated from the Naval Academy. The only president to graduate from the Naval Academy. He was going to do a military career. And then the family's peanut farm in Plains, Georgia got into hard times in the late 40s, and he left the military to save his family farm. He ended up getting involved in local politics by serving on the Plains School Board, and he gradually worked his way up to the presidency. He is a class act. Jimmy Carter, 95 years old today. Speaking of class acts, William H. Rehnquist, the 16th Chief Justice of the United States, was born in the state also in 1924, shares the same birthday with Jimmy Carter. William J. Brennan, who served a long, long time with William J. Rehnquist, said he was without question the most effective Chief Justice he ever had. A lot of people miss William Rehnquist. He had a great sense of humor and a very good Chief Justice. He was born in the state of 1924. And happy birthday to Julie Andrews, 84 years old today. She's English, of course. She's won the Academy Award, 5 Golden Globes, 3 Grammys, a couple of Emmys, the Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, the Kennedy Center Award. The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music. Julie Andrews is 84 years old today. All right, 31 minutes after the hour. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNighty's opinion. That's coming up. And then we're talking baseball with my good friend Joel Norman, the voice of the AppleSox. They have a new skipper taking over from Kyle Crustangel coming up in June of next year. And we'll talk postseason baseball as well with Joel Norman. That conversation we taped yesterday, and you'll see it in about 5 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Tuesday edition, live from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, Stephen here, branch manager of Beneficial and Home Care. It's our mission to maximize our clients' physical health and sense of mental well-being while remaining in the comfort of their home. Qualified care is only a phone call away. Beneficial and Home Care helps you live safely and comfortably at home. Our home care supervisors provide a free in-home assessment with quick process and turnaround. Call Beneficial and Home Care. Schedule your personalized one-on-one care today.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Open 7 days a week, Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in or take it to go, our friendly staff is here to serve you. Reservations recommended for Friday night's prime rib dinner. Call for live music dates. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
My awesome is being able to share my passion for yoga. I found yoga in my mid-40s to help me kind of de-stress and calm down, and it actually changed my life. Washington Trust believed in me. I felt like, okay, they got my back. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go for it. It actually makes you feel like more brave. I do have a lot of awesome in my life.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, we'll help you get there.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. Remember the good old days? Sunday supper at Grandma's and the best recipes being passed down through generations? Well, come on out to Blueberry Hills and find amazing food with huge portions at family-friendly prices. From Benedict's to burgers to fresh fruit pies, there is something for everyone. Don't miss Blueberry Hills, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. wildaboutberries.com.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, there's been a good deal of discussion about school protection, and maybe, just maybe, this time we'll see some positive action. However, we need to get past these knee-jerk emotional reactions, stop pointing fingers at those who we think are to blame, and stop once and for all, stop waiting for the government to act. Banning bump stocks now may possibly have some deterrence on a school shooting in the future, but let's face it, such an action is merely a pacifier to political correctness, which will do nothing now to prevent or deter the next school shooting. So let's get real, folks. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing, located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
Some jobs take more than skill. They require something deeper, an innate devotion to the communities in which we live. At Gisa Credit Union, we help you support law enforcement, firefighters, teachers, and veterans. With every purchase you make with a Gisa Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little. With the Gisa Local Heroes Affinity debit card.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
They may not be from you, but they're a part of your family. For many reasons, not all children are being raised by their parents. Are you a family member who has stepped in to help raise grandchildren, nieces, or nephews? Whether court-ordered or not, Aging and Adult Care may be able to assist you with many needs. Kinship Care helps keep family and community ties together. Learn more about Kinship Care by contacting Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, working together for a better quality of life for all.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Angie Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. October in the world of sports is the best of everything. High school football in full swing, NFL full swing, college football, happen and deal. NBA training camps are open, NHL training camps are open. The Wenatchee Wild are already playing hockey. All of that takes a back seat, in my humble opinion, to the baseball playoffs. Yes, it goes from a marathon to a sprint. We're going to talk about the baseball playoffs and all things baseball related to my good friend on my immediate left making his very first appearance on Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, the voice of the AppleSox, Joel Norman. How are you, buddy?
Oh, just happy to be here. First time ever.
Yeah, first time ever for Joel on the show, so he's really nervous.
Oh.
First things first. This announcement came about a week ago, a little over a week ago. As you know, Kyle Crustangel stepping down as head coach of the Wenatchee AppleSox after 3 years, including leading the team back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Kyle decided he needed to step away. Obviously, the burnout factor when you coach that much baseball over a period basically between February to fall was just worrying on Kyle, so we stepped aside. You have a new coach. His name is Ian Sanderson, but he's no stranger to the West Coast League. He's no stranger to us. He was the pitching coach at the team that beat us in the playoffs, Victoria.
That's right. Ian Sanderson brings a track record of success to the Wenatchee AppleSox. That's the biggest thing I took away when I look at his resume. I mean, it's a guy who's an associate head coach over at Lower Columbia, and they've won the NWAC each of the last 3 years, 4 of the last 5 seasons. They are pretty much the dominant team of that league, and they're the standard for success there. He's been a big part of that recruiting. They made a head coaching change. He was kept with them, and they continue winning because they value him. And we're really excited to have him in this role. Of course, you mentioned being with the Victoria Harbor Cats. He's got West Coast League experience. He did a great job, in my mind, really managing their pitching staff in the playoffs. Victoria, while the AppleSox were pretty much hurt for everything, Victoria was hurting pitching-wise in the playoffs. But he did a fantastic job managing that bullpen. And, hey, we look for that as a head coach to bring that kind of success over to us. And we're thrilled with what he brings to the table.
Yeah, this is really exciting news, and we want to welcome Ian on board to the AppleSox family. Tell me about the vetting process. Obviously, the resumes came in. You're looking at things. Did you play any role in it, or just exactly from the time Kyle stepped down to the time you formally offered the job? Not you formally, but Jose offered the job to Ian. Talk about that whole 2-week process. About 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 or so. But, right about when we released the news that Kyle was stepping down, we got a lot of applicants just based on that. And frankly, that's, in my eyes, that's kind of the way you want to get your applicants, because you want people to also know enough about us to see that and say, I want this job. So a lot of our applicants, that was the case. They saw news about this, or a friend told them, and they said, that's a great opportunity, I want to apply. And we went through a lot of interviews. A bulk of that was done by Ken, Allie, and Jose. I helped out a lot of it too, but we got our man. This was the guy at the end of the day who we all wanted. They just, we kept circling around between a few options, and every conversation ended with Ian. So we're thrilled that we got him. We're thrilled that he wants to be here, and we're just really excited because he brings something different. I think, especially, I talked about him being, an associate coach at Lower Columbia, pitching coach at Victoria. He hasn't really been a head coach at the college level, but we are convinced he can make that jump. And in a lot of ways, maybe is more motivated to do that, because so many of these coaches in this league are either former college coaches or current ones. But I think it's a unique opportunity when you have a guy like him who's maybe trying to move up in the industry. So we think he's going to be pretty hungry with us. And I think that gives us an advantage in a sense. You've got a guy who's hungry. He's got to prove himself. And, hey, this is a good way for him to pad his resume, sure. But, we're really looking to benefit from this as well.
Obviously, one of the first things that he had to do is get a hold of all the players who expressed interest with Kyle to come back for the 2020 season. Now, Kyle's not here anymore. Ian is in. I'm taking the first thing you do when you got the job is hop on that cell phone and start calling some of the players who have expressed interest in coming back to the AppleSox next year.
Absolutely. Ian's it's a big thing. We want to get guys who want to return. We also want to get guys who he's comfortable with. I think it's really important at this level to have familiarity. But at the end of the day, I think sometimes you would sacrifice familiarity for wins. So it's going to depend. If guys want to come back, we'll have them. We're more than happy to. But we never want to base our recruiting solely on, does a guy want to be back? Okay, we'll take him. It all depends. Is he fit in with our coach's model of the team? So we'd love to have as many familiar faces. I always tell people my favorite game from 2019 was opening day, when all the former players from 18 were back and fans are remembering them as they're being introduced. I'd love for that to happen every single year, but I'd also rather win. I would rather win at the expense of having familiarity year to year. So I think the most important thing is, we get guys who Ian wants to be here, not just because we get guys who want to be here because of familiarity. So we'll see. It's important to build a brand from that standpoint, and I'm not trying to disregard that at all, but I pretty much, I think Ken, Allie, and Jose would agree. We'll leave that at the discretion of Ian, who we get for the roster.
And he gets quite a bit of a leeway there. There's usually Jose, his management philosophy is to me the way to go. You hire the right people and you try and stay out of their way.
Absolutely. And that's a great thing. Jose likes to be involved in the sense that he wants to know what's going on. But he does a great job at allowing everyone to kind of do their own role. And we think that's going to help with Ian. He's done a fantastic job with communication early on. This is a guy who's been hired for less than 2 weeks. And, pretty much every other day we're talking with him about our roster makeup. He's updating us, I called them, and it's exciting. He's got a lot of contacts that, we're going to see guys playing for the AppleSox. Maybe you haven't seen a player from that school before, but that's great. There's a lot of untapped areas in this country that the WCL, every team is kind of trying to race to try and grab people from there. I think we're a top 5 league in college ball across summer baseball across this country. So there's a lot of areas to tap into. The question is, does your coaching staff going to do that, or are they going to stick with what's familiar? We want to move on from what's familiar. As we feel like we've done in the past, let's go a little beyond that and see what else we can do.
And his background is in pitching. And the old adage is you can never have enough pitching.
That's right.
Just to have somebody whose entire background is a pitching coach means that we're probably going to be in games maybe more than we would in years past. Because if you have good pitching, if you can't hit, the pitching is still going to get you into the late innings.
No, absolutely.
In theory.
And that's an important thing. This is a league, though, that I've learned in my 2 years, covering it. It's pretty much based on hitting, I think, a lot of ways. However, if you have superior pitching, that sets you over the top. My point being, a lot of teams can hit. Not a lot of teams can hit great. Not a lot of teams pitch well in this league. So our hope is that, we can have a good enough hitting, and maybe our pitching can be a little bit more improved. I think it's been solid the last 2 years, but I think there's room to grow as well. And I think Ian is going to give us an advantage in that category for sure.
It's funny, the hitters have to make the adjustment because they're usually used to aluminum bats, and now
That's
they come to
right.
the West Coast League, which is an all-wood bat league. Pitching doesn't change. The baseball is still the same size, and you still got to throw strikes.
Pitching might in a sense. Maybe you target a guy in a different spot because with a wood bat, maybe he's not able to make as good of contact. So maybe that's something Ian can bring to us. The NWAC uses wood bats. So I think it's extremely advantageous when you have coaches from that league jumping into our league because they're familiar with the wood bats. And in a lot of ways, it's better because they can recruit the lower guys as well, the junior college players. So there's a lot of reasons to be excited about Ian. I mean, losing Kyle was unfortunate. We would have loved to have had him back. We also, again, as I said before, we understood his decision. However, we were thrilled with the next step, and I think we got the guy we wanted, and we think we're ready to go a step even further despite the coaching change.
Before we make the transition to the Major League Baseball playoffs, one last question. All the owners will be getting together, I assume, after the
Couple
holidays?
weeks from now,
A couple
actually.
weeks to get down. Is it Portland where they all meet again? Or?
Well, they meet in Seattle for the fall meetings. It's
Okay.
usually in the middle of October. I think Jose's able to make it. I know Allie's going with him as well. They're going to chat. Kind of just, the schedule will be released shortly afterwards. They just discuss a few things, kind of wrap up the past year. The winter meetings, usually in, I think, January or February, those are more kind of, what kind of changes do we need to make? But a lot of the fall is just a recap. What did you guys think now that the dust is settled? And then the schedule comes out. We'll probably have that maybe late October, early November.
I'm all for that.
Same here.
Speaking of October, here it is, October baseball. The 162-game marathon is now a sprint. We're down to the final 10, 5 in the National League, 5 in the American League. It starts today. The wild card, Brewers and Nationals on TBS, 5 o'clock. You like the wild card. I like the wild card. Although I'm a traditionalist, I've come to embrace the wild card. It keeps more teams in the pennant race later on. Brewers and Nationals. Brewers don't have their best player. They lost and broke his kneecap.
Missing Yelich, that's tough.
Yeah, so I like the Nationals here.
I do too. Usually in the wild card history, the road teams have more success. But I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Brewers because it's been the issue the last 2 years. They don't really have a definitive number one starter. So I don't know if they're built to win a wild card game. However, if they kind of do a bullpen game, it's hard to say. I like the Nationals, though, at home. I think they've been playing with kind of like a chip on their shoulder this year with old Bryce Harper leaving for the Phillies. I like the Nationals in this one. I don't know if they go much further, but I think they take the wild card.
Yeah, the Nationals, remember, have never won a postseason series. They've won games, but they've never won a series. I'm with you on that, Nationals. And as you mentioned before, without their best player. And the Brewers have been struggling down the stretch, too.
Yes,
they had a great chance to win the National League Central, and they just kind of let it slip through the grasp.
Give them credit, though. They played really well, but you're right. It wasn't enough in the end.
That's the National League wild card game today. Tomorrow, it's the Rays at the A's. Again, that's a 5 o'clock start on ESPN. So you got Tampa Bay at Oakland. Who do you like?
I like the Rays.
I do too.
I like the Rays a lot. They're pretty healthy right now. The Athletics are really solid. They've hit the ball hard all year. There's something about that Tampa Bay Rays team, though. They just I always go back to 2013. They won a play-in game and then the wild card game on back-to-back days. I think both times on the road, which to me still is incredible. But I think they're going to win this one. I'm not sure why, but I really like the Rays this season. They've been really chippy. Didn't they just sweep the Yankees this
I don't
last
recall
week or
that.
So? I mean, they look the teams who come into the wild card game hottest always seem to do the best.
And it should be pointed out that in the American League, the 5 teams that were going to make the playoffs was settled really a couple of weeks ago. There was really no doubt about it. It was the National League where the teams had to scrap and claw to the very end of the regular season. The winner of the National League wildcard game between the Brewers and the Nationals move on to take on the Dodgers in one half of the National League bracket. So we've already picked, you and I both think the Nationals are going to get past the Brewers, so now you got the Nationals and the Dodgers. Dodgers with the best record in the National League.
It's a 5-game series, so I say the Dodgers will lose 1, so they'll win in 4, but they're going to the World Series in my opinion.
I agree. The other one in the National League bracket is Cardinals at Braves. In fact, we can bring the bracket up so you can take a look at what we're talking about. Cardinals at Braves will be Game 1 of the National League Division Series. That begins on Thursday.
Oh, that's hard to say. The Cardinals have kind of surprised, I think, a lot of teams. They've got a few players who maybe everyone doesn't know about this year. Jack Flaherty's not really a household name. I think he will become one this postseason. but I still like the Braves in this series. I'd go Braves in 5. It'll be tight.
I think the Braves are going to sweep for the only reason is that
Okay.
the Cardinals have no left-handed starting pitchers.
That's true.
Their entire starting staff is all righties, and the Cardinals had a fight and claw to the very end of the season for the seeding and stuff like that, and that usually takes a little bit out of the team. So I got the Braves in a sweep in the National League
Sweep.
Division Series.
Wow.
And then we move back to the American League. The wild card winner, which we both think are going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, will take on the Astros on one side of the bracket. And I say Astros because I'll say it right now, I think the Astros are the team to beat in Major League Baseball. They have to be the favorite to win the World Championship.
I would agree, and I've got them sweeping there. You roll out Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Zach Greinke in a best-of-3 game series, first of 3 wins. Yeah, there's no way they're losing.
The other side of that bracket, the Twins and the Yankees will get going on Friday.
I wonder who you'll pick. But, it's funny. You look at the history of this playoff series over the last, almost 20 years now. The Yankees have just stomped the Twins.
Yeah, they have. They've owned them.
The Twins are a different team this year.
Yeah.
They don't again, they're kind of like I was saying with the Cardinals. Not a ton of household names. I mean, Mariners fans will know Nelson Cruz is with them, of course, but they hit a lot of home runs. I like Yankees in 4, though, only because of home field advantage. I think the Yankees, more than any team in this postseason, has the best home field advantage.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely, I do. And as much as this kills me, so that would mean if our picks come out correctly, it would be the Astros and the Yankees in the American League Championship Series.
That's right.
The Astros have the best pitching of any of the postseason clubs and probably the second best offense behind either the Yankees or the Twins, for that matter. I don't see, and I hate to say this, but I don't see anybody beating the Astros. I think the Astros are going to take it all.
I'm with you there too.
Yeah, Astros over Dodgers, just like it was 2 years ago.
I would agree. I always tell people I'm a history buff. I've referenced history already. Got a history minor in college. I like to put it to use. I'll do it right now. 2017 Astros and Yankees in the ALCS.
Yeah.
The home team won every game.
Yeah.
It'll go the same this year.
Yeah.
I'd go Astros in 7.
Yeah, and the Yankees are still banged up, and the Yankees have been slumping into the postseason. But again, as we mentioned before, now they go from the marathon to the sprint, and for a manager, and it's an entirely different way. And everything is going to be more intense. All those games that were 14-10 during the regular season are now going to be 4-3 nail biters.
Yeah.
Every pitch counts. The intensity is so cool.
My biggest question with the Yankees comes down to the pitching, because Luis Severino's healthy, and that's gigantic. But how far can he go? Do you want to kind of piggyback him off of CC Sabathia? Because they don't want to start Sabathia.
No, they don't.
But is Severino able to go 6-7 innings right now? I would be a little hesitant to say he would.
Yeah.
And then your question is Tanaka going to be good enough? He's been lights out at home in the postseason in his history, but not on the road. And then is Paxton going to be good enough? This is his first time in the postseason.
But he's been pitching so well lately.
He has. I think he's your safest bet. But sometimes the postseason changes people. Remember Severino's first start in the postseason a couple of years ago.
And all of these pitchers that we talk about pitch so much better at Yankee Stadium than they do on the road. So the Yankees really need to win Game 1. They have home field advantage in the first round, but in the second round, it's Houston's the top seed. And for the first time in baseball history, 4 teams won over 100 games. The Dodgers in the National League and all 3 division winners in the American League. The Yankees in the East, the Twins in the Central, and the Astros in the West all won over 100 games. It's never happened before.
No, and the only time I enjoy when baseball's top-heavy is the postseason. I think in the league the last 3-4 years it's become a real issue. However, right now it's not the time to complain about it because you do want the best of the best in the postseason. However, 2020, it's right back to square one, and we're saying why are teams not spending enough compared to them. So
if all of these series, and granted, it's not the odds of this happening are slim, but if all of this happens, if the divisional series and the championship series and the World Series all go to their maximum games, that means you get a postseason baseball game every day,
which is our preference.
Every day from October 1st today all the way through. I believe the last game of the World Series is October 30th. Is that 30th?
Correct? That's correct.
So there you go. Every day you got a
That's what we need.
baseball game. Yeah.
Because once baseball's gone, it's really tough for me. I mean, I do like hockey and
I go
basketball.
through a little depression.
I agree.
So
I call that February.
Yeah, I kind of whimper and cry a little bit, and I end up in the corner. So go Yankees! Sorry about your Pirates, by the way.
That's all right.
That's all right.
It's all right.
They'll get there. And next time Ian's in town, I'd love to chit chat with him.
Absolutely, that or maybe something on FaceTime or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Joel Norman, the voice of the AppleSox, making his very first appearance on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley postseason baseball. It doesn't get any better than this. We'll be right back.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Manny Sanchez here from Town Nissan. It's car buying season, and as we close out our 2019 model year, I want to show you how affordable it is to buy a new Nissan car or SUV. The Rogue is one of the best-selling SUVs in the country. You can own one for just $22,999, or this 2019 Nissan Altima also for $22,999. And finally, this great deal on this 2019 Sentra for $17,999. Come on down and save on the last of the 2019 models before they're gone. It's all at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
And welcome back here. We are live from Studio 3 in beautiful downtown Wenatchee. We're going to wrap up this program where we began this program with the weather forecast. And as you take a look at that, a couple of notes I wanted to pass along to you. We had that freezing warning that it could be a freezing or even a heavy frost overnight into the wee small hours of the morning this morning. That did not happen. We got down to 41 degrees. Our forecast overnight low was supposed to be around 34 or 33 degrees for the Wenatchee Valley. But what happened is the clouds that were supposed to part and thin out late in the afternoon and into the early evening hours on Monday didn't. They hung around, and that held whatever heat we had Monday. And granted, there wasn't a lot, but whatever heat we had on Monday was actually kind of contained with the lid of clouds. So we only got down to 41 degrees overnight last night. We're at 43 degrees right now. And a couple of other items I want to pass along to you. Yesterday's high was only 50. Our normal high on the last day of September was supposed to be 70. So we were 20 degrees below normal. It was chilly, and we set a new precipitation record for the month of September. And it pretty much all happened in the last few days, as you might imagine. As measured at the wastewater treatment plant down along the Columbia River in Wenatchee, which is where they kept this measurement, we got 2.30 inches of rain for September 2019, and that broke the old record of 2.14 inches of rain, which was set back in 1986, and records have been kept at the wastewater treatment plant since 1931. So, since records were kept 88 years ago, we had the wettest September on record. That was pretty wet. Now, as you look at the forecast there, you see all of those temperatures until we get to, say, Sunday, Monday, they're still below normal. We are gonna warm up. It's going to take a little while, but it's going to warm up from 58 today with quite a bit of sunshine. Mixture of clouds and sun Wednesday and a high of 59. Thursday, right around 60 degrees. Friday, mid-60s. Mid-60s again on Saturday. Mid-60s Sunday. Upper 60s to near 70 on Monday. So we're going to go back to where we should be temperature-wise this time of the year after two record-breaking chilly days. On Saturday and Sunday, things are going to return to normal. So that's your weekly temperature outlook. We also have your 3-month temperature outlook from the National Weather Service. This is for the Wenatchee Valley. Our normal average, the average, of course, is the high and the low combined. Your normal average for the 3-month period of October, November, and December is 41.6 degrees. There is a 43% chance that the average temperature will be above normal for the month of October, November, and December. So if the long-term models are in agreement, we are in for a warmer than normal autumn. There you go. So there's your forecast. Sunshine today, 58. It's going to feel warmer after all that those chilly temperatures over the weekend. Just a couple of clouds today. Weak system comes in and comes out Wednesday, Thursday, quite a bit of sunshine. Another weak system Friday. Not going to really affect us a great deal. All in all, no complaints at all. And a nice weekend. Mixture of clouds and sun on Saturday and a high of 65. And Sunday, sunshine and a high of 66 degrees. My guest tomorrow will be Tom Nees, the executive director of Serve Wenatchee Valley. They're moving into a new home in a couple of weeks, and we got a tour. You'll see that tomorrow, provided the show isn't canceled. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.